All right, this is 6th grade math. Today we're going to do 1.4 order of operations. Now we've been working on this in our review worksheets from the beginning of the class, and so hopefully more will click into place as we work. So remember, it's PEMDAS. A lot of people learn it as please excuse my dear Aunt Sally, but like I've said in the past, PEMDAS is what it's going to be referred to pretty much from now on as you go through school. So the P stands for parentheses, or really any kind of brackets. So if you have a bracket like that, that is considered a type of parentheses. The E is for exponents, and this symbol right here, you may not think of that as being exponents, but when you do it on a calculator, you will, the button that you do for exponents is this like upside down V. And then M and D is multiply and divide. Multiplying and dividing happens at the same time. You just move from the left side of your expression to the right side, and you do them in order. So if multiplying happens before dividing, that's what you're going to do as you work through your problem. And then very last would be adding and subtracting, and that once again is from the left side of the expression to the right side. So we're going to do some problems where we have some PEMDAS here. So let's start with this one. Okay, so we are going to first look for parentheses. There are no parentheses, so we can look for exponents. There are no exponents, so now we look for multiplying or dividing. There is no multiplying or dividing, so now we're going to add and subtract, and we have to start from right here with this number and work our way that direction. So we want to start with 371 minus 203. If you need to write it to the side and do it vertically, that will be fine. So it would be 371 minus 203. Cannot take 3 from 1, so we're going to need to borrow. So that would be an 8, and then a 6, and then a 1. So 168. So 371 minus 203 is 168. It's best to go ahead and take multiple rows to work out the problem and not lose it. So 168, and then we have our plus 2. 168 plus 2 is 170. So the reason that we work from left to right is most of the time, if you were looking the other way, you might call this 205. And if you take 205 away from 371, you're not going to get 168. Let's try another one. So we're going to look for our parentheses first. There are no parentheses. There are no exponents. So now we need to look for multiplying. And we do have a multiplying, so that's what we need to do first. We need to do this one right here. So 6 times 4 is 24. Then I'm going to rewrite the rest of my problem, which is that 3 plus. So I want 3 plus 24, which is 27, which is a very different answer than if you did 3 plus 4 is 7. 7 times 6 is 42. So if you don't do it in the right order, you will get the wrong answer. Try this one. Same thing, no parentheses, no exponents. We need to multiply first, so we need to do this first. So we'll have 9 plus 24. 9 plus 24 is 33. All right, here we go. Now we have some parentheses, so we're going to need to work that first. So we'll work inside our parentheses. Inside our parentheses, there's only one operation. It's just multiplying, so that's what we'll do. We'll do our 12 times 3, which is 36. If you need to write it over to the side and work it out because you don't know 12 times 3 off the top of your head, that is totally fine, okay? So we have 12 times 3 is 36. Then we're going to go ahead and write our 7 plus and our divided by 6. PEMDAS says the next thing we need to do is the division. So we want 36 divided by 6, which is 6. So I'm going to do 7 plus 6, which is equal to 13. Next up, We have no parentheses, but we do have an exponent, so we're going to have to work that first. Remember with exponents, this is the number we're multiplying. This tells us how many times we're doing it. This is not 3 times 3. It is 3 times 3 times 3. We've got multiple of them. So 3 times 3 is 9. So that's 9. 9 times 3 is 27. So we'll put our 27 right here, and then go ahead and copy down the rest of the problem. We want to add and subtract from left to right. So we're going to do our 27 plus 8, which is 35, minus 16. So once again, if you need to write it vertically, there's no problem with that. So we're going to borrow from our 3. So that would give us 19. So they're going to get a little more complicated. Now we've got a lot of things going on. Just remember, you want to start with your parentheses first. We're going to start with our P. We do have a set of parentheses, so I'm going to go ahead and solve that. And I want to write everything else in to make sure that I do it all in the right order. After parentheses, we look for our exponents. We have a set of exponents, so we're going to work that. 5 squared doesn't mean 5 times 2. 5 squared means 5 times 5. 5 times 5 is 25. I'm going to write down the rest of my problem. Now I'm at multiply and divide. I have a multiply and a divide, but I need to go from left to right, so I'm going to start right here. 8 divided by 4 is 2. It's going to take you a lot of lines, but we're going to rewrite each step of the line just to make sure we don't miss anything. Next, I'm going to multiply because that comes before subtracting. 2 times 25 is 50. 50 minus 2 is 48. At your groups, I would like for you to practice these and write it out in your notes, check all of your answers, and in a moment when everyone's done, I will give you the answers. All right, so here come the answers. The first one, we're going to do our 18 divided by our 6 first, which is going to give us a 3. 36 minus 3 is 33. Next, we need to divide first. 24 divided by 6 is 4. 4 times 2 is 8. 8 plus 7 is 15. Here we need to divide first because it's in our parentheses, so that would be a 3. Then we're going to do the 4 times the 3, which would be a 12. 62 minus 12 is 50. Number 4, we need to cube the 2 first, so that would be an 8. 8 times 5 is 40. 40 plus 11 is 51. Next, we do inside the parentheses first. That's going to give you a 4. Our 4 squared here would be a 16. So we'll have 5 times 4 is 20. 20 minus 16 is 4. Next, when we do our exponent here, we would get a 9. Inside our parentheses, we're going to get a 1. We'll do our 9 times our 6 and get a 63. So we would have 5 plus 63 minus 1. 5 plus 63 is 68, minus 1 is 67. All right, if you have time today, you can go ahead and start on your, I hit the button and it went on forward. The teacher will give you your worksheet and you can start working on it today if there's time. If there's not time, don't worry about it. You'll have plenty of time tomorrow in class to work on it. Have a good evening.